So what's next when it comes to Zebec from a fundamental standpoint of view? In today's video, I'm going to discuss that even though nothing I say is financial advice and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, I actually feel like the Zebec team, as of late, has been making some measures in which could hypothetically increase the utility when it comes to Zebec. Let me explain why that is. Because if we take a look at it, not too long ago, they talked about the super app being live. But we have to consider, when it comes to the super app, ZBCN is used for fees when it comes to that. So what does that mean? In theory, if the super app has better adoption, if let's say there's more people caring about it basically, and if we do see more, I guess, activity when it comes to that, inherently, I think that would probably mean a good thing when it comes to Zebec, right? Because it is, again, used for fees on there. Not to mention, if we take a look at it, Zebec, we've seen in the past, even Simon talk about this, but they're using the revenue from the Zebec products and stuff like that to reacquire ZBCN. In which case, if they're doing that and that is being removed in theory from the circulating supply, what happens? The ZBCN arguably as a result become a little bit more rare in that sense, right? Because again, the less of the supply of something, in theory, the rarer it becomes. However, at the same time, keep in mind, ZBCN, the recovery in the past 24 hours has been almost 5%. So when I'm asked the question, what happens next? Now, in terms of the charts, I can't know anything exactly as to when things could happen. But from a fundamental standpoint of view, I think what's next from the kind of actions that the Zebec team has been making lately, there are some things that I can deduce, right? The main one being that I think arguably there's more utility when it comes to ZBCN as of late, and also maybe the deflationary pressures are just a lot more fantastic than before. But yeah, besides that point though, this is just my personal perspective. But let's talk about the charts real quick, because when it comes to the charts, ZBCN almost a 5% recovery in the past 24 hours. Is it the best? No, but I'm not going to complain. Did you know that Zebec as of right now has a market cap that is almost 400 million? It's actually around 375 million. Not too long ago, this would have been considered like a little bit unheard of, especially when I first believed in Zebec well over a year ago. When the market cap was below 100 million, this would have been considered just a little bit ridiculous. Like, how could it do that? At times, that was kind of the sentiment. But you know what? Still, even as of right now, people like to say it's not good. But keep in mind, in the past year, so in the past 365 days, did you know that ZBCN's movement has been 240%? 240%. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm just saying, a lot of people like to assume that Zebec is doing so bad, but really, for anyone that kind of cared about it well over a year ago, I don't know if they would consider it so bad, but I'm just saying, personally for me, I've never thought that Zebec is bad. Now, I've held some other projects out there that are not doing good, absolutely, as of right now. Like, a lot of them are just not doing the best. But when it comes to Zebec, ever since I held Zebec, like ever since I started caring about it, I haven't been like, I guess, so upset or angry like that, because keep in mind, even with the pullback from last year, the market cap is still almost 400 million, in which case I first, talked about it when the market cap was below 100 million. But yeah, besides that point though, of course, Zebec, granted, if let's say I come from the perspective of believing, let's say Zebec from around a 540 million market cap, which I didn't start at that point, but I'm just saying, if let's say that is the case, if I believed in it kind of at the top last year and seeing it be the way it is as of right now, okay, sure, there's been a pullback, of course, in that sense. But keep in mind, other projects out there, the pullback is like, what, 95%, 98% from their peak last year? I mean, okay, Zebec hasn't been doing the best, but if we take a look at around a 540 million market cap last year at one point, and we see as of right now, almost a 400 million market cap, I mean, is the pullback really as intense as some other projects out there? I don't think about it that way in some cases, but that's just personally my perspective. Now, also, not to mention, just like days away, basically, Simon, the CEO of Zebec, he's going to be making an alleged major announcement, according to himself, right? That's not something I discovered. That's literally something he talked about not too long ago. And again, Basically, a lot of people like to tell me, oh, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Now, a lot of clues are pointing to hypothetical Ripple partnership. That's kind of like the main talk as of right now when it comes to Zebec. And it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, again, like I mentioned in my previous videos, there has been a lot of clues lately when it comes to that, like Simon going to the Ripple office in London, and also him talking about how during his time at the office, basically, he was kind of alluding to something along the lines of one of the biggest product announcements to date. So again, that's a lot of clues right there. Why would he, go to the Ripple office in London just to have fun? Like, no, I think there's an actual genuine reasoning behind that, right? Simon's a very busy individual, I'm assuming. I mean, again, he's the CEO of Zebec. So I don't think he's just going there to take random pictures, even though he did take a picture, but I'm just saying, still, there must be an actual, I guess, reasoning behind that. And then also, again, like I mentioned before, he's planning for a major announcement at XRP Las Vegas, which he's going to be a keynote speaker there alongside Brad Garlinghouse, which is the CEO of Ripple, alongside as well. Someone like the CPO of Solana, amongst many others. So again, at the end of the day, a lot of people out there are kind of, thinking about a Ripple partnership, hypothetically, which, I don't think is too far-fetched. Now, what could happen as a result of that? Now, I think there could be a lot of possibilities, but I'm just going to give like a contrast in terms of an example. Now, if we take a look at Zebec's closest competitor, what is it? It's Onyx. But take a look at the recent movement that Onyx made, right? For instance, Onyx recently announced that they got listed on a place called Upbit. Now, the thing about that is, we'll see what happened when it comes to the charts when it comes to that. Actually, in the past 24 hours, because of that, XCN, as we speak, had a recovery of almost 30%. Now, it was a lot more, but there's been a pullback. But I'm just saying, that was as a result of like a new listing. Imagine what a Ripple partnership could do, hypothetically speaking. You know what I mean? Like, what's cooler? A recent listing or a Ripple partnership? Now, for the context of Zebec, I think that a Ripple partnership would just absolutely be more fantastic than an arguable new listing. But granted, though, I mean, Upbit is very massive, right? It's currently ranked third in the world in terms of spot exchanges, according to CoinMarketCap. So, of course, not taking anything away from that. That's very impressive, in my opinion. But for the context of Zebec, I would arguably say Ripple partnership would just be a lot more dynamic, arguably. But this is just purely my perspective. Now, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that, though. But I'm just saying, Brad Garlinghouse, he's going to be speaking on April 30th at XRP Las Vegas. Guess who's speaking right after him? None other than Simon himself, the CEO of Zebec. And he's planning to make a major announcement at that event. So, again, the event's going to happen from April 30th to May 1st. But we do know that Simon is going to be speaking on April 30th. I'm waiting for that partnership announcement, if it could ever even come. Or if, let's say, he announces something else, who knows? But I'm just saying, I'm waiting for that. I'm a little bit curious, actually, because we've already seen Zebec have a partnership with Stellar and as well as Algorand. We've already seen Zebec have an aspect of ISO 20022, SOC2, MICA. We already see all that. And again, what could top that, right? That's a Ripple partnership right there. I'm just very curious when it comes to that, because when I first believed in Zebec, a lot of people thought that a Ripple partnership was impossible, let alone also a Stellar partnership, which a lot of people thought, like, that's kind of just unbelievable. But we've already seen a Stellar partnership. Now, we've already seen Zebec have XRPL as one of the supported chains. That's nothing new, but the real one that a lot of people are caring about is a hypothetical Ripple partnership, which we will have to wait and see. But because it's days away, I'll be sure to make a video when it comes to that. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Mali the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.